Guessing Rob will join us when he can here. Oh crap! I gotta go get the thing too. How's 0 viewers?
All right, there we go.
We are live. Hey everybody, there's only 2 watching right now, but we want to send a special welcome to the Georgia boy joining us the first time tonight.
Woohoo!
Welcome to the Georgia boy. Nathan had to run away for something.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to go grab my iPad so that I can watch chat. But thanks everybody for coming out. Rob Amuser is supposed to be with us here soon, so we'll see. And like Jamie mentioned, we've got Georgia boy finally. He's got a little bit of time for us. And I think today we're going to be talking a little bit about 9mm, and then I got some other stuff to talk about, and I'm sure everybody else does. So let's go ahead and get started at it, and I appreciate you guys coming out.
Is the feed up, the comment section up yet?
Yeah, probably. I'm going for it right now.
There you go. It's up and running.
My iPad. So far, I don't see it.
You see it now?
All right.
There's Uncle Jim. Hey, Uncle Jim.
I see Uncle Jim on there. I appreciate it.
Before we get started too much in the 9mm, I want to tell you guys out there that are trying to move your stuff from YouTube. I've been moving my stuff to BitChute, and I've found that if you try to do it with your wireless connection, it takes forever. But if you get a hard line into your computer and go through your Ethernet port and out the cable to your router, it works a whole lot better and it's so much faster. Maybe that's just at my house because we generally have 4 computers going on at the same time.
Well, your download and your upload are going to be different rates, and I think your Wi-Fi should have a designated amount of space for upload, just like your Ethernet does. Maybe it's considerably less. It's interesting. I haven't tried plugging anything in for that.
But yeah, I've noticed that it works a whole lot better going through the Ethernet for you guys that are trying to do that. And I'm still trying to get everything moved to BitChute. Once it's on BitChute, my project is to get everything up to the Reloaders Network.
Well, I know Bacon would certainly appreciate that. He's been talking to a lot of people about trying to make sure that we get as many people posting videos or cross-posting videos over to the Reloaders Network as possible. Kind of tag onto that, Jamie, something that's interesting. When we have a situation on YouTube like we had this last weekend where Brownells and a couple other channels got strikes and or pulled, I'd be interested to see how that affects people generally for uploading videos. You know, it's like, do people just kind of like, I could upload this, but the heck with it. You know, they're just going to pull this off anyway. I wonder if that kind of like generally like gets a decline in the upload of videos when we have something like that. Because boy, my feed has been empty this week.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of anything that I'm interested in. And one of the things I got to do, and I think you guys would agree, is instead of looking at YouTube for your feed, go over to the Reloaders Network, and that's more the stuff that we're interested in anyway. It's more the people that we know. But my contention there is if YouTube kicks us all off, all of those posts on the Reloaders Network are going to be unattached. They're going to be hanging out there in the wind. You're not going to have the host for those articles and those videos. So we've got to get other hosting sites involved, as y'all all know. There's the Scotsman.
Yeah. Have comments yet, or the for some reason.
Look to the right of your screen, Georgia Boy. If it's got like a list of videos that it's recommended, there's going to be a button that says Top Chat, and click on that, and then your chat will come up and get rid of those videos. Scotchman asked about how to load a vid. I'm guessing he's talking about on the Reloaders Network. It depends on who you're using to embed the video from. If you do it from YouTube, it's really easy. You just copy and paste the link. Don't even use the hyperlink tool when you go in, because Scotsman, you're already an author, I think. So you just click on New up in the top left-hand corner, and that'll take you to WordPress, and then you put in your title, and you just copy and paste that link and put any verbiage you want in, and then send it. Bacon's got really good videos and instructions on that. If you're doing it from YouTube, which is what I've been trying to do, it's a little bit more tricky because you have to have a special embedded link from YouTube, and then you have to put it into the WordPress site in a slightly different way. He's got directions on that too. It's just mine hasn't been working all that well. That's why my tourist videos, I haven't uploaded anymore with that, because it's Bacon's the one's actually having to do it, not me. If you're not, Scotsman, if you're not an author, I'm sure Bacon would be more than willing or looking forward for you to do that. Just go ahead and send him a message on Slack and say, hey, that you wanted to be an author, for sure.
Yeah, he won't have a problem with that at all. As much help as you've been giving everybody, he won't have a problem with that at all.
Uncle Jim casted some 9mm today, so we have a little bit more. So we have a little bit.
What the hell was that?
So Uncle Jim posted, he's casting some 9mm, so we got a little bit more to talk about 9mm a bit later on.
Do you always just throw stuff across the room?
Sometimes. It's been a long day, brother. It's like, one of those days, and I'm sure we all can relate, when you're working and you're doing something that's hard and it's kind of fighting you, and your nerves are all your patience is gone. You've used up every last bit of it, and it's like you're still in good humor, but it just, no patience left for it.
Right. I've knocked a salt shaker off the table several times. It's just the heck with salt.
I'll do one of my favorite ones for that. A buddy of mine in the morning was pouring milk on a cereal and hit the flake wrong, and it splattered on the floor, and he just threw the cereal bowl right through the window and walked off and went to work.
That's not a good way to start the day. Holy crap. He had enough of it before he even got to work.
Yeah. Had enough for the day. The day was already, that was it.
Since Scotsman's out there in the chat, man, I got a little scared. We're doing this 9mm thing tonight, and I'm looking around. Where's my 9mm stuff? I mean, I got brass everywhere, and I'm like, I'm up here and I load a lot of 9mm every week because I shoot a lot of it on the weekends, and I couldn't find anything. So I went to the basement to the super secret bat cave, and I looked around where I keep my finished bullets that are ready to load, and I couldn't find any. I'm like, oh my Lord, I need to cast some 9mm. I don't have any. Found some. They still haven't been sized, so they weren't in the ready section. I do keep, there is a method to my madness. There's a bunch of madness here, but there's a method to it. So I found three salsa jars that need to be sized. And Scotsman, you're lucky. You got the last of my size 9mm, man. Enjoy it. Of course, you didn't get it yet. I think you're not getting it till Monday, but you know what it is. So
The Emperor has arrived.
oh hell!
Tim's been posting some really good videos lately. I've been enjoying kind of just some of the short little news breaks he's been going through. It's been kind of nice to somebody else to keeping up with all that.
Don't encourage him, Nathan. He's bad enough as it is. So, Georgia Boy, you want to show everybody your new addition that you got today?
My what?
Your new addition?
Well, I got a new bench.
Yes.
Can y'all see that?
Heck yeah, brother.
Yeah, new bench. I don't know what y'all can see there, but I didn't make it. I bought it. It's coated metal frame, adjustable height, hardwood top, powder coated frame and all. Shelving underneath. It's 25 inches wide and 6 foot long, so
Yeah, man.
pretty good bench. Looks better than anything I would have built.
Yeah, I heard y'all discussing carpentry work before. I can be an electrician. I can be a plumber. I'm a really good mechanic. I can be, a landscaping worker. I can damn near be a roofer, but a carpenter I am not.
I can't do roofing. I fall off.
I make sure that I'm roped on, but
Yeah.
Okay,
I've
y'all
done
tell me what I'm doing wrong here. I never use this iPad. So I've got it pulled up here, but I can't get rid of these videos and get the comments pulled up.
turn it the other way. Turn it sideways.
Yeah, I got that.
Now,
Got Snoop Dogg over here. I won't get rid of Snoop Dogg.
hang on. At the bottom right-hand corner, does it say top chat?
No. That
Scroll it up.
I got nothing.
No. Scroll the right-hand side up. No, the other way. All the way to the top. Nothing?
That's it.
Well, I mean,
Is it too old for that? This is the old iPad.
well, this is a little iPad mini. It's probably older than that one. Look what I got here. I've got the video here. I've got this window here, and it says it would say top chat right there at the bottom with a little arrow. You just click that. I don't know why that doesn't work.
Yeah, it works on my phone. That's how, I hit the top chat, I get right in. But on this, I got nothing.
That's weird.
Because I was going to read the comments off of this, but I got nothing.
Huh.
Oh, well, y'all can tell me what's going on in the comments.
Uncle Jim's old and he works.
Measuring,
his bench. Sorry.
yeah, Measuring Green messing with me, telling me it took you probably less than a month to get that bench there. Yeah, probably.
Hang on, let me fix that a little. There we go.
Yeah. Measures and Grains said maybe you should turn it off and turn it back on.
It's always the answer with computers, isn't it? Just turn it off, turn it on. It'll be all right.
That's the answer to
Restart.
anything. Your Freightliner or Peterbilt has a check engine light. Have you disconnected the batteries yet?
That's right.
Well, Uncle Jim asked for it, so I'm gonna give you a quick pan, guys. I have got the bench, or part of the bench up, not all the way. There's still the other section that it needs to be done. Sorry about the light, but it is up, and still got a lot of work left to do, but it's physically standing. And oh yeah, so I put in an order on like Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it was, with Inline Fabrication. Then he called when I was getting the safe. So that was on Wednesday. Then Thursday I finally got a hold of him. He's like, okay, he just wanted to make sure something was right with my order, and then he sent it. And then today we get the email about the 10% off. I'm like, man.
I hate it when that happens, and that happens a lot. And you try to call them like, look, I ordered this last night at 11:52. The sale went on at midnight. Can you just delay it 8 minutes? Nope.
Cancel my order then. Hey, Kurt, how you doing, buddy?
Exactly. I've done that. Well, then just cancel the damn thing if you ain't shipped it.
All right, I got it now.
Woohoo!
Oh, sweet.
I had to put it on desktop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all sales final depend on what, he had actually just mailed it out. I think I got my notification that it mailed last night because it was coming from Oregon, so it was a little bit late here. But yeah, so yeah, oh well. But it's that was like $240 worth of stuff for press mounts.
right, so we're supposed to be talking about 9mm, right?
Absolutely.
All right, what do you guys use to load your 9mm on?
I use the same thing that's in Georgia Boy 44's room right there, and beside his, right there on his bench. I have a 4-hole Lee turret press and a little bitty small single stage Lee, the Lee loader single stage press. And I'll have them both going sometime, doing one thing over here and one thing over there. So when you start reloading, not just for 9mm, but for anything, what's the first thing you establish?
Who you directing that to, James?
Oh yeah, the panel.
First thing I'd establish is a formula to go by to start with.
Well, it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm going to do a full load development, I find out what's going to be the limiting factors. So, am I going to be shooting lead in it? All right. Well, what kind of lead am I going to shoot? So, make sure that it's not too soft or too hard. You know, and then maybe go for a bullet or two because I don't have a lot of money, so just buy a mold. And then I was like, all right, well, I have to figure out how to make it work with this mold. And then I just kind of try different powders depending on what's in the middle of what I'm doing.
Jamie, are you referring to cast bullets?
I'm referring to something I learned from 76 Highboy. And the reason I ask it is so y'all can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm wrong more often than I'm right.
All right, if I'm loading cast bullets, the first thing I'm going to do is take the barrel out of the gun. I'm going to grab a dummy round because I know what bullet I'm using. I use the same bullet.
Stop right there.
Do what now?
Stop right there. You said the key phrase. You know what bullet you're going to use. That's one of the things that 76 Highboy always beats down your throat. Is the first thing you do on any caliber or any project is you establish what bullet you're going to be using.
I'll go along with that. I didn't think I had to look for that. I already knew what I was going to use.
Well, yeah, if you don't think about it, that's you know what I mean.
When I was actually, go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, it is. I can see where you're saying that. And the bullet design is going to be probably one of the primary drivers for the performance of any ammunition. If it's a hunting round, if it's a target round, if you're like, I know Georgia Boy and Kyle and I have all kind of dealt with to some degree is if you got a lever gun, make sure your overall length's going to be right so you don't get a bullet with an extra long nose. If you're going to do 38 Smith & Wesson, make sure you got something with a super long nose. So yeah, bullet design is probably your first choice, and then after that, powder and whatever else.
When it comes to 9mm, I knew what bullet I wanted to use. Just Tumbleweed Lee, 124 grain. Knew it. What I did was, first of all, start setting up dies to make sure it passed the plunk test. And because that'll determine how much you're going to bail your case and your final crimp and all that stuff, and you just want it to go plunk. So
right.
Then after that, I start messing with powder charge and all that, and I've got these. These are my fine-tuned, just strong enough to cycle the action steel competition rounds. And I load a bunch of these.
The Crazy Scotsman says that he'll only buy 100 of a new bullet and then try them first and take 3 books to find his middle road of the powder. I never start.
Great idea. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I never start at the max, and I never start at the minimum, but I absolutely never start at the max.
Right.
And I believe this is the bullet you're talking about, the 124 grain Lee Tumbleweed design.
That's it.
Yeah, we have the same mold there. So And when I talk about stuff I learned from, yeah, it looks remarkably like that green one right there. Kyle and I were talking on the phone last night, and y'all can shed some light on this, give y'all something to. Uncle Jim, it's the Lee 124 grain Tumbleoo 356. He's wanting to know what bullet it is.
You want me to go get the mold so I can give him the number?
Do you need that, Uncle Jim?
If he does, I'll go get it. It's just over there. So
Okay. Kyle and I were talking on the phone last night, and I was rounding up a bunch of this 9mm stuff, and I got this bullet right here, which is a 102 grain 356. I have a 2-cavity Lee mold for that, and I bought several of these. There's a gun store in town that I buy. This is a Hornady jacketed. They call it a full metal jacket, but it don't have copper on the bottom. But this is a 100 grain 356. And see, I'm calling all these 9mm, but Kyle's telling me these 100 and 102 grain bullets are for 380. I'm assuming they could be used for that, but I don't know. What do y'all think in the chat room?
I'm answering a question for Uncle Jim right now.
I think Meg's got something too. The first thing he does is make sure he has a radio station. His old lady cannot, how do you put it, can't stop the plump test. And Curtis asked me about the long nose, and I kind of answered him here. 38 Smith & Wesson has a high bullet weight, so it's a heavier bullet when you look at load data. And if you get a bullet that has a lot of shank, it uses up all your case capacity very quickly. And being that they're low pressure rounds, you can kind of get into an ugly spot. So you want to find something with a real long nose for that round in particular. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, 38 and 9mm are only like 0.02 of an inch more on the diameter on the caliber. You're looking at 356 and 358.
There you go, Uncle Jim. Hey, Willie, what's going on, brother? I would type, but I'm not that good at typing because I have to go over here. But actually, Uncle Jim, this one's 127.4, and these haven't been sized or anything yet. 127.6. I mean, they're religiously consistent. 127.3. They're all right there. That little mold drops them straight. So
okay, Kyle's talking about the kerplunk test. We'll get this back together here in a minute. I've got 2 handguns here. I'm taking this one apart to get the barrel out. Okay, this is a 124 grain Spear Gold Dot jacketed hollow point. I don't know if you can see it. Jacketed hollow point. And it goes. It falls right in, falls right out. What I've run into is when I have 2 9mm. One of them has a tighter chamber than the other one, basically, is what I'm telling you. One, it'll pass the kerplunk test, and the other one, it won't. And it'll actually jam the action up. But these right here, Kyle, we got to get together and shoot some of them. Those are hot little mamas right there. Let me see if I can find the recipe.
yeah, I kept my loading manual up in case anybody wanted to know it. So
I've seen Tim using that truncated cone bullet from that Lyman clone. I'm really interested in that one when I get to that point. Tim, do you have any feeding problems or anything with that, or anybody else that's using that mold? It looks like it's going to be a really good target. I like those kind of semi-wide covers. Bullets, I think they work well for target shooting. It's just sometimes that they don't really want to feed as well as around those. So, if you got anything, let me know.
This round I showed y'all is 4.2 grains of tight group. It's in Winchester brass, Winchester small primer and brass. And I loaded those on March the 7th of this year. I hadn't even got to go shoot them yet. I'm kind of like with Georgia Boy on that. I seem to have more time to do live chats and loading. I don't have as much time to go shoot as I want.
If
Shame,
anybody
man.
wants to, go ahead.
That's a shame, ain't it?
Yes, sir. I extended the invitation out to you this week. You shunned me.
No, man, we'll go.
If anybody's shooting plated bullets like Rainiers, the 124 grain round nose Rainiers, I had amazing luck. If anybody's got any power pistol laying around, running 6.3 grains. But I'm like you, Jamie. I use tight group because it's such a low weight powder charge and it's extremely low recoil for what it is. It's got a lot of power but low recoil. So I'm running my cast loads just barely enough to cycle the action.
The thing about tight group is you can load a bunch of rounds with a 1 pound bottle of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm running like 3.6, I think. I think it's 3.6. I don't know. I've got my Lee powder disc sitting here. I don't have the double stack or anything like that. I just went with the single stack. I've actually got an auto drum back here I'm gonna put on it, but I can't remember which digit, but it's perfect as to what I want, which of course it doesn't match what they say it should be, but it's perfect to what I want. I just crank and crank and crank and crank. I measure the first 3 or 4 charges and then go to town.
So Scotsman said that he's going to move up to 147 grains and that he's shooting a 9mm CZ. What CZ is it, Scotsman? Uncle Jim says the CZ pre-Bs are good. He probably won't like this one then. This is the CZBD. The D stands for decocker. So it'll be after you rack it.
After you cock it, you can decock it.
Yeah. After you cock it, you can decock it. Let me tell you something. This gun right here, that firearm shoots really good with tight group and some cast lead bullets. I mean, it shoots really well. So
it's funny that Tim Robinson is in the chat over there. I got a real kick. I fell in love with his videos of taking shotgun powder and running them in 9mm and 380s and all that. That's what made me and him start talking to each other, and we've actually become real good friends over his love of shotgun powders.
Well, depending on how you look at it, most of your pistol powders are shotgun powders anyway. So that's just more load data is available.
But the thing about that is you can find the shotgun powders on the shelf. And when I started watching his videos, you couldn't find any of your normal pistol powders in any store. Because you got to remember, I've been watching his videos for a couple of years. And you couldn't find any of the normal stuff on the shelf. And I had a couple of buddies that worked at stores and all that, and they'd get in 4 and 8 pound tubs and send me pictures, smiling with the tub. I'm like, save it. I'll be there in 30 minutes. But that's how I ended up with the powder that I've got. I have a few 1 pound tubs, but most of my stuff's in 4 or 8 pound jugs.
Well, you got to have 4 and 8 pound jugs when you got that swim pool, and
Right, that part.
living the high life, man.
The one that's still green.
Us four boys, we got to cut. I got powder in like a little baggie, and
You got the hollowed out bullhorn.
yeah, absolutely. I actually have to run down to the store, and then I take my little leaf scoop, and I get one scoop. It's all I can afford, and I got to run back. Try not to spill any.
Oh man, that's funny.
Well, Georgia boy, you're awful quiet over there. You don't have any 9mm?
Man, I don't reload 9mm. That's I guess I hadn't got around to it yet. I got a local store that I can buy 9mm for like $8 a box of 50 for blazer brass or
Wow,
something like that. And anywhere from, it's normally about $10 a box. A couple times a year they do it for $8, and they'll put 40 Smith & Wesson on sale for the same price as 9 twice a year. So I try to just stock up and
let me know when they do that. I'll send you to the store, and I'll send you a check.
We'll load up, but I just don't shoot enough of it to get there yet. Maybe one day with cast, of course, but right now, I've got one 9mm, but I don't reload for it.
I've got, and if anybody's looking for a good place to get projectiles, I've got a bunch of Full Metal Jacket 9mm. These are, I think these are 115 grain. You can go to AmericanReloading.com, and they're in the business of buying back the lots of ammunition that the military doesn't use. So they'll buy a lot of 20,000 rounds, pull the projectiles, and resell them. They'll salvage the powder. They know what it is. They'll bulk package it and resell it. And then they'll sell primed cases and not charge you a hazmat fee. That's what's neat. But yeah, I've got an entire ammo can full of that stuff. But once I started casting my own 9mm bullets, the cost went way down. I mean, you're looking 3 cents for a primer, about 2 cents worth of powder. Just pick the brass up off the ground. It's whatever you got in electricity and lead. It's really where the cost is.
Yeah, that time.
I
I went to a gun shop in Dublin when I went there I had something to take care of for work, and I went in the gun shop because I saw the pictures. It looked like they had some reload stuff, so I went by the reloading section. And I mean, the powder was like $40 a pound. I was like,
That's why they have it.
yeah. They had primers, but they wanted like $75 for a brick of primers. Like, these are Obama prices. Like, that's so. All I ended up finding was he had that 310 tool that I ended up picking up because I've never had one, and for $25, it was the only thing in there I thought was reasonable. But the price for guns was fine. It's just like he really had a high premium on that reloading stuff.
Well, he probably bought it when none of it was available at a gun show and got raped and just trying to break even.
Yeah.
You're talking about primers. I've always used the CCI primers. I've always liked them, but I couldn't get the CCI small pistol Magnum primers locally. Everybody was out. So I had the gun store order them. When they came in, for regular CCI small pistol Magnum primers, no match, just standard Magnum primers, $47 a box.
So how many boxes did you leave right there on the cash register and walk out the door?
5. He ordered me 5. I told him he just had to keep them.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Ridiculous.
And I tell you what I did. I tried out the Federal small pistol Magnum number 200s. They work great. They're regular price, and they're as hot as the CCIs. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you run into that problem,
The
try
only
the Federals.
the only issue with Federals that I've seen, they're about the same power wise as CCI. It's just they're softer.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've seen difference. That if you're having something that you're really wanting to pay attention, you're doing low development, you're wanting to pay attention to your primers for pressure signs, Federal's a good way to go.
Yeah.
I think CCIs will just keep on being around. Like they don't care about your pressure.
Yeah, I hadn't had any trouble out of the Federal, and you know, I bought a couple of thousand of these Fiocchi. No problems. That I bought them cheap, and they work great.
I like Winchesters. I bought some. I don't know how to say it. Cellier and Bellow.
S&B.
S&B.
That's how you say it.
I was not
They just
happy
spelled
with
it wrong.
I was not happy with those. But I prefer the Winchesters.
Have you ever shot any Cellar and Bellow rounds? Like their ammunition seems to be unbelievably hot. And I don't know if that maybe has something. Maybe their primers. I really don't know. But I've shot a couple things with that ammo, and it is really hot stuff. So hot, in fact, I won't buy it anymore for anything that's questionable.
You talking about the green box factory ammo?
Yeah, the factory SMB ammo just to me is really hot.
Well, you can ask Kyle about Remington UMC 44 Magnum and a green box.
You want to tell him, or do you want me to?
No, you go ahead, man. That stuff scared me to death.
Me and Jamie are out shooting at this indoor range, and he's shooting his 35 Remington, doing some sighting in, and I'm testing some of my reloads. These with the taco mold, the 285 grains. And then I realized they won't chamber in the Ruger, so crap. But the Henry just was eating them up. I mean, I'm shooting ragged holes with not very good iron sights, but I thought just for the heck of it, Jamie picked up a brick of 44 Magnum Remington. Was it? It's not PMCs. What is it?
It's UMC. It stands for.
I got them somewhere, yeah. But I picked one of them up and put it in that Ruger, and I pulled the trigger on that thing. That sucker almost jumped out of my hand, and I'm sitting there just in shock. And Jamie sticks his head around the wall, and goes, "Is the gun okay?" Oh, that thing was impressive. I put it to you like this. I shot some factory 44 specials into a pineapple last weekend in the middle of a thunderstorm, and it just went through it. My buddy, who is actually an Atlanta Police Department cop, he said, "I want to shoot it." And I said, "Okay." And I handed him a 44 special. He goes, "No, come on, let's have the goods." So I handed him a Magnum, and it was, like I say, it was raining. He pulled the trigger. I think there's still pieces of pineapple falling down. That thing exploded. And he was like, "Holy crap, that thing almost came out of my hand." Like, I told you to hold on to it. They don't realize it doesn't have a 4.5-inch barrel. It's got a 7.5-inch barrel. That builds up some velocity.
It does.
But it sounded like Jamie's over there shooting a deer rifle, and this thing just muffled it. But yeah, I don't know what they're putting in it. It makes me want to pull one of them apart and see if I can figure out what kind of powder and charge weight and everything else they got in those loads. Because wow,
well,
those hurt.
Yeah. Normally you would start with shooting it over top of a chrono, but I'm sure you couldn't actually get the chrono to get out in front of that thing.
That's what I shot the chrono with.
I know.
It was
that quivering when you're shooting.
It was that Remington UMC 180
because you said let's shoot a factory round. That way we can get a baseline for the reloads that you're shooting. And
that's right, buddy. It's all my fault.
Huh?
It's all my fault. That's okay.
No. It was me behind the trigger, and I'm the one that dipped the barrel of the damn gun down 3 inches when I pulled the trigger.
I'm gonna tell y'all what, man. I'm glad I got that on video. That was
Yeah,
That
me
was
too, Jamie. Me too.
just a wild thing. I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
Uh-huh.
I think most of all you guys enjoyed seeing it too. I think that video's got over 100 watches so far. I don't have many watches, and I think I'm up over 60 subscribers now though. So
That's good.
What I thought was extremely funny is Eagle Eye was out shooting his 30-06 and dinged one of his uprights for his little canopy hoods. And he goes, "Oh Lord, I almost pulled a Kyle Lutz."
So speaking of Eagle Eye, have any of you guys given any more thought to his challenge and what you might like to use and for shooting a little bit long distance?
Oh, the Coke can challenge
the Scotsman got it in 4 shots.
with a pistol.
With
Actually, if you go back and watch Scotty's video, when he got it on the 3rd shot, I think he shot in front of it, and the dirt blast it picked up knocked the can over. But he did do it in 3 shots on the 2nd time.
Georgia
I
boy.
didn't want to call him out. I didn't want to call him out on his video, but that's what it looked like to me. And I watched it like 4 times. But he did on the 2nd time. He got it in 3 shots. So
Georgia boy, you gonna try it with a 38?
Get me a load worked up, I may.
I think I'm gonna try it with my 586.
Kyle.
yes, sir.
This Remington green and white box you were using in the 44.
Hang on. I've got it right over here, sir.
This UMC.
Yeah, it's that stuff.
Yeah, I got some in the 38 Special Plus P, 125 grain.
Oh yeah, you got the big box.
Yes, 100. I've had it for a couple of years.
Is that stuff pretty hot?
You know, I've shot about half of it. I don't know. It seems kind of about normal to me, but
Well, Jamie was asking me, does it say like ultra fast or crazy sonic or high power or anything?
yeah,
No.
mine just says, 38 Special Plus P, 125 grain, semi-jacketed hollow point. So I guess it's pretty warm.
I had shot a box of regular 44, a box of 44 special, some of my hand loads, and some pretty hot hand loads through it, and not had a problem. That thing almost jumped out of my hand. I was like, "Holy Lord!" It was up there. And if I wouldn't have shot my chronograph, I'd know how fast it was going. But yeah, it's the same Remington UMC green box.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And it's pretty cheap.
Well, once you figure out that you better hold on to it with both hands, yeah, it's good stuff. It's accurate. I'll give you that. It's accurate.
Yeah, I've loaded some warm 44s.
So Curtis got all deep with us, y'all.
Oh no, what'd he do?
Yeah, he's talking about basing his primers on the application. What I think, and what I've heard, and Curtis, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you've got load data that specifies a specific primer, maybe that's what you ought to use.
Not really. Just work your load up. I mean, the primer choice. I'm more with Curtis on this. It comes to just being a soft cut versus hard cut. Federal's soft, CCI's hard. Winchester's kind of in the middle. And Winchester's one of the only ones that I actually give a caveat to on this. And that's because Winchester did that whole, it's a Magnum primer, even though it's not, even though it is, even though it's not. So you'll find a lot of, I think it's Lyman loads, might be Lyman, that are loaded with Winchester. Like if you're looking at 357 mag loads, they're loaded with that Winchester primer. And it's like, man, was it a Magnum primer or a non-Magnum primer? Because the Winchester does both with one. So that's the only time I would say it's any different. Everything else, just work, do your reduction and work your way back up. But that soft cut versus hard cut is a pretty good sized deal when you're trying to find pressures.
Yeah, I can see where it would be. So Nathan, why don't you take a second and recognize all the folks in the chat room.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Willie out there. I haven't talked to you in a while, buddy. I'm glad. It looks like you're doing pretty good. Looks like your daughter was on with us for a little while, and I think she's stepped out. I've seen my significant other was in the chat there for a minute. Scotsman, appreciate it, brother. Did shout out to what was it, last Sunday for like everybody pretty much. Well, all of us lowly people. A sub, what was it, 1,500? I think you did a 500 and a 1,500 subscriber shout out. So I know
that was awesome. That was awesome.
It's really good looking out, brother. Mike Treen came in for a little while. Nice to see you. It was a neat story you said on Slack about the Olympics. I think that's really interesting, man. The idea of shooting for the Olympics is just crazy. Dale Lamb, I don't know if I've spoken with you before. And once again, another Winchester primer guy. Yeah, I've used all kinds of different primers, and I've never really seen one benefit over another. I have heard some negative things about SMB. I've heard some negative things about Fiocchi. And then maybe some of those other off brands that came up during the great shortage. But by and large, I try to stick to CCI and the Federal just out of habit, just because I know what it's going to do.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I mean, I can. I didn't know that I was going to. Maybe my phone's too sensitive or something.
Just a second. While he's talking about the people in the chat room, and Dale just posted there. Dale's a good friend of mine, lives right up the road from me. We reload a lot together. We hunt a lot together, and he don't live far from me. This is his first night to tune into our chat, so I want to give a special welcome to him, and hopefully he'll come back and join us some more. We kind of swap stuff back and forth. I make bullets, and he takes them and loads them up, and he comes over and helps me do like while I'm casting bullets, he'll be making ingots and stuff like that. And he gave me this past week, he went on a trip, but before he left, he gave me a pound of power pistol. So I'm gonna be using some of that in my 40 Smith & Wesson.
I got your recipe, brother.
Well, I need it. So
got a pen?
that XD is screaming for some more attention. And my CZ here, it's not been shot very much at all either. So it needs some attention.
I didn't even know you had one.
Well, there's a lot of things about me you don't know, brother.
Fair enough.
Especially about firearms. I don't know how y'all feel, but I got one buddy that I've known for 30 years, and he still hadn't told me everything that's in his safe, and he never will, and I don't blame him. But
I don't think it's wise for anybody to tell anybody what's entirely in their safe.
Right. Well, one thing I learned when I was young, if you tell everything you know, everybody's going to be smarter than you. They're going to know everything you know and everything they know. So there you go.
That's the truth, bro.
So show us your other 9mm firearms you got laying out there, Kyle.
Who, me?
Yes.
Okay. I've got a standard 17. I got a standard Glock 17. This is actually a police trade-in. It's got the Trijicon night sights and all that on it. It was an extremely good price. I was never a Glock guy, but I couldn't beat the price. And I had a buddy of mine at work said, buy it. If you take it and shoot it and don't like it, I'll give you $10 more than you paid for it, and we'll go get it transferred. So it was a can't lose situation. I took it and shot it, and it shoots really good. I've always been the guy that you give me a Glock, I can't hit the broadside of a barn standing in it. And a buddy of mine says, well, you just can't shoot. So I pulled my Colt off my hip and shot 8 out of 9 clay targets out of a pallet little system that we had at about 20 yards, and I only had 8 rounds. So I shot 8 out of 9. He goes, yeah, it's the gun. Yeah, it's the gun. So, but anyway, I bought this, and I've liked it. I've actually shot it in steel challenges and all that. Yes, it's empty. I like it. I've got a little truck gun here. It's a Sky, an SCCY. It's a CPX1. It's first generation. I think they're up to generation 3 now. I haven't had a problem with it. What I did like about it is it's got a safety. So that's kind of cool. I leave it in the door pocket or whatever. It's a backup to my backup is what it is. Now this baby, M&P Shield 9mm, and I've actually done a lot of customization on it. I've stippled everything around here a lot more than factory. I've hand carved the cross in the back of it, painted it all up. I've spent a lot of time on this one, and it's been fully apex triggered, special. There's a special trigger, special spring in it, and all that stuff. And this is the one that I shoot my steel competitions with now. And in rapid fire mode, it goes. That's all the gun moves. It's just enough to move the slide. That's it. And the slide has been shaved, so it doesn't weigh enough to make the gun go back down. So that's what I shoot my time steel competition shots with. Don't really know how good it does at long range because all I'm shooting is these little cast bunny farts. It's just enough to make it go. So, but it loves it. It eats it all day long, and you just point it and click, and there it is. But there's some of my 9mm. So next,
I'm showing you my CZ, but the only other 9mm I have is what I call my car gun. When I'm on my bike, I'll carry this inside the waistband. This is a Taurus G2 Millennium 111, and I know y'all gonna make fun of me for having that, but I like it. I like the 12 round capacity. I like the way it shoots. It handles, shoots pretty good. I've never had a problem with it, and I've got close to 1,000 rounds through it, and it just shoots.
From what I've heard, that particular model of the Taurus is almost bulletproof. No, forgive the term, but as far as malfunctions, there are none.
You get a good one, you've got a good one. If you get a lemon, everybody, I think Taurus takes a bad rap because they make so many guns.
Right.
They just make more firearms than anybody else, so they have more returns and more people squawking about it. And they're decent guns at a really good price, and it's what people can afford. And
yeah,
that one's been a good one for me. And a lot of people would disagree, but I like it.
Another company that's come a really long way is Rock Island.
Well,
they used to be your Sam's Choice for pistols and all that stuff. Now they're getting up there, man. They have some really tight quality control.
Well, I don't know how much I would say they're getting there. First generation Rock Islands were great. Now the revolvers those are rough, but their 1911s were fine. It's just now the price is getting up there. I mean, you used to be able to pick one of those things up for $350. Now it's $500-$600, and I bet you they haven't changed a thing.
No, I guarantee you that they have. Have you taken an old one versus a new one?
Mm-hmm.
Have you measured it?
They're fine either way. Like, I haven't seen any problems with quality control, but I'm talking about older GI, or not older, but talking about the GI model, and not the more high speed ones.
Okay, because I know just go to the store and you want a Rock Island 45. Those things, it was like they were dipped in sand and all that. They had to wear in. You had to run 500 rounds through it before you could actually depend on it cycling. The new one, and everything was floppy. You could take it and shake it, and you hear everything rattle around in it. The new ones, the tolerances are way tighter. My buddy's actually got it's a 1911 model 38 Super. And that sucker shoots better than my Colt 45. It really does. That's a dream to shoot.
Yeah, the Taurus. It's interesting because I was just on their website. I think it was this week, and I was looking at their revolvers, trying to see what they had available, if they've made any changes. And Most everything they have is 38, 357, and then they have that 44. But they make a really nice little Smith clone in the revolvers. I just wish they made some stuff in a little bit stranger of calibers, because that's what I'm more drawn to. But now that they're going to be opening up a factory down here, I'm now giving them a little bit more consideration than I was, a year ago.
What has happened with Daniel Defense over there in Silver Creek? I heard this was probably about a year ago, I think. They laid off like 60% of their workforce, and the price of the guns started going up a lot. I really like Daniel Defense. In my opinion, they've got the best barrels in the AR industry, unless you really want to spend some money. Have you not heard anything about it? I mean, you're closer to them than I am. Actually, you're probably not. We're about the same. It's over there.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
Jamie, have you heard anything about it?
Daniel Defense?
Yeah.
Nothing.
What about you, GB?
No. What was you saying about them? They're moving?
No, it wasn't that they were moving. It was sales were off so bad.
Oh.
And something else, because they pretty much make their living off law enforcement. And then something, or military, and something happened, and they got like 5 contracts canceled, and they laid off like half their people. Yeah. But I haven't heard anything about it since.
Yeah.
And this was like a year ago, maybe even a little bit longer than that. I don't know. Yeah. But I just know you can get those barrels hotter than a firecracker, and they still shoot true. They don't just sit there and curve,
They don't droop.
Right.
You can just build a AR so much cheaper than what they're pricing. And when you build one yourself, you can pick the components you put in it, and you can kind of swap off between price and performance and quality there, and get in a good rifle for what you want.
Right. And my little 300 Blackout, my little 10.5 300 Blackout, I built it part by part, damn near bought it spring by spring. And I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a really good gun, and I'm gonna have it cheap. And then I realized I got $450 in a 10.5-inch barrel. But nothing on that gun is cheap, and it's really fun to shoot. And it'll eat anything that you put in it. And it's because I put the money where the money should have been put.
So, guys, I got this friend with me at work that's in the chat room. His name's Kevin Dancalls, and y'all say hey to him. But he put in the contact in the chat that I need a 380.
I'm getting into the 380s a little bit more. I've got a 380. I've got an old Bursa that needs a little bit of love. The clip will come out of it.
I've got one.
And trying to find an old Bursa clip is impossible. But Catherine has a Walther that I can mess with as well. So I'm just starting to think about getting into 380s. But I'm 9 mil, so.
I was going to say, go ahead, Uncle Jim, start making jokes.
Bolt barrel trigger.
Everybody knows how I feel about these. They get in my way when I'm loading these. Matter of fact, I went full Elvis ammo here. I got the bullet feeder. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if it was quicker without it. I just thought it was neat. It was a neat idea. I've tried the Hornady bullet feeding die. If anybody wants a 9mm Hornady bullet feeding die, hit me up. You can find all my information, and it's not really hard. I did order. This has got the powder disc on it. I got a powder drum coming, or actually, I got it right there. But I do know why they have the blast shield on the Lee Loadmaster, because I had a Winchester primer go off. It says only use CCI primers, and I drove it down, getting ready to pull it back up, and it went bang. scared the crap out of me, but didn't hurt anything. So I think they were spot on with that little blast shield, because had it not been there and the rest of the primers been there, there could have been an issue. I don't think it would have destroyed anything, but it have really ruined the primer tray. But I got a case feeder on it, four tube case feeder, 4-tube bullet feeder, and you can really crank out some ammo. I'll sit in here for 30 minutes and have between 600 and 900 rounds, depending on what kind of music I'm listening to. Next. That awkward silence.
Yeah, I know. That's what we try to avoid. I was, what I was getting at is, I knew you'd go off on the 380 thing. I don't much care for 380 myself either. And partly because of what Kyle says, I try to pick them out, Uncle Jim. I try to separate them, but when you get one in your die, and it just, sometimes you just can't get them all. They're that similar in size to the 9mm. And my buddy Dale, I was telling y'all about, he's getting ready to start loading 380. So Dale, you need to get in touch with the PC Bullet Empire. His name's Timothy Robinson. I'll hook you up with him, and he's been doing some good work with 380s. And from what Kyle was telling me last night, this 102 grain mold that I have for that me and you've been using for 9mm, we can use that in the 380s also. I personally thought 380s ran around 85 to 95 grains, and I thought 100 grain and 102 grain, 115 grain, 124 and 147 was what 9mm used. I stand corrected.
Sigma Soldier 31 asked what kind of press only lets you use CCI primers. I've seen this with several different pieces of Lee equipment where they'll tell you to use CCI only primers. I've never seen it with anybody else, but I've heard that some of the other, maybe the RCBS hand prime. This one of the things I really noticed this was with hand primers. Really kind of started that, only use CCI primers because the CCI primer cup is tougher. It's the only reason.
Yeah.
I've never had a primer pop in 12 plus years of reload. I've never popped one.
Imagine how surprised I was when I did.
Yeah, never had to happen. So what I would think is you would almost have to have something on the primer ramp to set it off. I mean, I just can't see how it would go off unless there was either something in the primer hole or something on the ramp itself.
There, and I went back and rechecked. There was nothing on it, but I got to looking through the instruction manual, and it says if you're using anything other than CCI primers, it is highly, strongly recommended that you put the blast shield on. So I put the blast shield on. That's fine. And I was sitting here. My son was sitting over here. We were listening to the radio, and just I was adjusting with the bullet feeder and getting everything where it worked. I'm like, hey, check this out. All you got to do is this. You know, that's cool. You know, yeah, Dad, that's real cool. Bang! and the look on his face, and I was like, you okay? He goes, yeah, you. I'm like, yeah. But it made me not really want to pull the handle down that hard again. Maybe I got a little overzealous with it. I'm not sure. Yeah,
that can happen. I mean, I guess that's why the warning's there. I don't know why it's only there for Lee equipment and nobody else seems to.
It's really weird. I think it's because Lee primes on the upstroke on the Loadmaster, because you can put a lot of force right there. And if you're in a hurry, I think I know it'll set one off. Now, I don't know what CCI does different than Winchester, because it was a Winchester primer that did it. I haven't had one since, but I've been a little careful since then. I still go at the same speed. I'm just easier on the final bit of the upstroke. And then, just so I don't know, but it scared the crap out of me. And I'm glad it didn't happen on my Dillon, because I've heard stories of Dillons going off and shooting every one of them off all the way up the primer tube and blowing a little rod, the detection rod, out the top of the press. So I'm glad it didn't happen on that. I used to load 9mm on a Dillon. I find the Lee Loadmaster a lot more convenient. I'm not too sure about the bullet feeder, but I haven't played with it and adjusted on it enough. So
Yeah, I haven't messed too much with the Lee Loadmaster or any of the Lee the Lee presses like the turd press and stuff like that. But they're really, with their popularity, you'd think that it'd be an issue if it really was a big problem. Now tube fed primers, I've heard of them going off, but I think that's more of a wives' tale. But I'm sure it's possible. But I've never actually met anyone that had it happen to them. So,
well, my buddy Don showed me his primer tube off his Dillon 550 that was split halfway up the side of it, because all 100 of them went off at once.
Man,
Wow.
And it shot the little well, Uncle Jim knows what I'm talking about. It shot this little doodad all the way through his ceiling. The little detection rod that drops and then it gets to the bottom and goes beep. It shot that all the way through the ceiling. And his wife even attests to it, so I kind of tend to believe him.
Johnny's Reloading Bench did a video one time about what it takes to get one to set off. He had several out on his bench just trying to make them go off and stuff. Did any of y'all ever see that video?
Oh, you can sit there and smash them with a hammer and nothing will happen, but you take an automatic center punch to the center of that baby and it'll go right off.
Yeah, that's what they're designed to do.
Right. Well, I know, but you think hitting it with a 10-pound sledgehammer make it go off.
Oh my goodness.
yeah, we're talking about the Eagle Eye Shootings challenge. I've been thinking about the rifle more than the handgun, I guess, because that's what the video is on the Reloaders Network. So I'm going to break out the Swiss, and I've only got a 300-yard range. But doing that open-sighted, I think, is going to be about the end of my capability. But, I saw Scotsman saying he was going to do 150 to 200 yards, probably offhand with a CZ, upside down.
Pinky's out.
But yeah.
Pinky's out.
Yeah. One eye open, nothing but net.
Nothing
Well,
but
the
net.
Scotsman kind of set the bar there. He shot one at 62 yards in 3 or 4 shots. So there you go. That's what you got to beat.
Is it considered cheating if you use a Ruger Mark 422?
No, just bad form.
How about if I limit myself to 2 shots and if I fail, I fail?
Not a matter of accuracy, brother. That's just bad form, man. We're talking about actual, I hate to say 22 is not a gun, but come on.
It's a beer bottle destroyer at 100 yards. It's really fun.
Well, then take it out to 100 yards and do it. There you go.
That's what I'm saying. Take it out to 100 yards. Give me 2 shots.
And it's scoped, or is it?
No.
Oh,
It's an iron sight Ruger bull barrel Mark IV target pistol.
I tell you what, I think that will be just fine. Being able to shoot 100 yards open sight, I don't care what it is. That's pretty fair, especially with 10 shots. That's with any handgun. That's a pretty big deal. Looks like Rob's being able to join us here. I don't know if we're going to have video with him tonight, but
Scotsman says that's not a gun.
Yeah, Scotsman especially. Does it have a cylinder? Does it revolve? No, then it's not really a gun.
Right. Yeah. And at Loads of Bacon, if you're still out there wandering around, I didn't even get a chance to set up for the challenge that you put me through. We were rained on all weekend. When it finally was sunny, we came down, and the area that we shoot across is actually the dam of the lake to get to 250 meters. And there were excavators and everything there. They're replumbing the lake drain. So we couldn't shoot there. So we went back in the woods and did a little bit more shooting and got rained out again. So it was a fun weekend. We had a lot of good time, but I couldn't. The only video that I got is of it raining.
Yeah, Uncle Jim says it shouldn't matter what caliber. I agree with you. It shouldn't, but it does.
Oh! Now Bacon's talking. Really?
Yeah.
I'll get Jordan over here. I talked to Jordan. I said, I've been challenged by loads of bacon. He goes, oh, what is it? I said, to shoot a sideways 1/4-inch steel target at 250 yards. He goes, so where's the challenge? I've seen you do it twice.
Scotsman says he's going to go 6 rounds at 150 to 200 yards. Good luck, man.
Pistol or rifle?
No, he's 44 mag. I'm sure it's going to be a revolver. But good luck. I don't know. That's a long distance for some open sight anyway. A scoped one maybe that you're used to doing that with. I mean, I know there's some guys on the cast bullet forum that shoot scoped big bore revolvers, and that's all they do. And I'm sure that would be, or
Tim says 500 yards.
Thorzak's is another one who used to do bullseye shooting. I'm sure those guys probably, no big deal. But for me, that's a long ways, man. That's good. That'd be a good shot.
Hey Nathan, how much range y'all have?
My problem is being able. I'm getting a little bit older in my eyeballs, and it's hard to line the back sight, the front sight, and the target up.
Yeah, we had a
open sights model 29. Okay.
Yeah, Rob, we had a storm that went on for about an hour and a half this afternoon. That was about it.
We had 0.7 of an inch here, dude.
I think it's still raining though.
Yeah. There we go.
What's going on, Rob? How you doing, brother?
Not bad, Kyle. I was up all night with deer in the damn yard, or in the wood, or in the peanuts last night. So took care of one of them. I was up.
Have you tried putting your hair? I mean, this is gonna sound weird. Have you tried, like, if you cut your own hair or you go to the barber or whatever, save the hair, throw it in pantyhose and tie it around trees and stuff around your garden?
No, I'm talking about the farmer's fields.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you ain't got enough hair for that.
No, definitely not.
Georgia boy, I don't know if you've heard the sweet deal that a Moser has. He has perpetual hunting license. He hunts all year, day, night, whatever.
Yeah, nuisance.
Yeah.
Permit.
Hey, Georgia boy made it.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, nuisance.
Yeah.
Permit.
Hey, Georgia boy made it.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Good.
All right, there we go. I'm all set up now.
All right.
Good to go.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun, I bet. But at the same time, could probably be a fair amount of hassle as well if you're staying up all night long trying to deal with them. But the freezer's full, so.
Yeah, my freezer's full, neighbor's freezer's full, mom and dad's freezer's full. You know how that goes.
Yeah, so what else did we want to talk? Oh, yeah, I wanted to bring up the Reloaders Network last week, Saturday and Sunday, were the biggest nights we've had in the entire time the Reloaders Network's been up. So Saturday was well over 3,500. I think it was 3,600, and then Sunday was 3,500. Part of that was driven due to one specific post, but another huge portion of it was that there was a whole bunch of people that posted or made posts on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, we had 12 posts on Saturday and a fair amount of them on Sunday. So the more we kind of keep, I don't want to say driving people, but the more we keep, bringing it up and letting people know of the Reloaders Network and what we're doing, I think the easier it's going to be to transition away from a YouTube-only customer base or viewer base. So just keep up the good work, guys. I wanted to just mention it because Bacon and I have been talking about, different ways we can go. And if you're involved in any kind of other social media or anything, that can't hurt. I know that I'm involved in, I've got one group on Facebook that I post in. It's like the Reloading Room, which is kind of ironic. and my name used to be the Reload Room. But yeah, I posted some things there and some other things, and that kind of drove a fair amount of traffic as well. So just a good thing to kind of keep moving towards that direction. What's that? Rob's just bringing out toys. I don't know, clean his room.
Yeah, we've been talking about 9mm, Rod.
Hold on. There we go. Now, what'd you ask me?
So we've been talking about 9mm.
I know. I was planning on setting up a whole bunch of 9mm carbines and stuff like that, but I've still got I was right in the middle of shooting Monday's video on my intro to 6.5 Creedmoor series, which is what I got sitting here on the desk. Let's see if the camera will. Yeah, I've got the Creedmoor sitting on the desk, and that's pretty much where I left it when I went out shooting last night, and didn't really get a chance to get back to clean it. So, kind of where I left the desk at. Let me see what's chat got to say. Hey, Meg. See, Meg said hi.
Yeah, Bacon's Bacon. I'm in that crowd. If I could host my videos on the Reloaders Network, it'd take away a lot of problems for me. But like I said earlier, I'm in the process of moving all my videos to BitChute. Then I want to get with Mr. Bacon and see if we can get. I don't know how to do the BitChute thing. I don't want to take them down from YouTube or eliminate the YouTube link, but I do want to put a link on there for the BitChute video as well, because as y'all can tell from what's going on this past week with Coda Boy getting scrapped and Brownells got busted off of there. So, you know, there's just no telling when it's going to hit any and all of us.
Yeah, eventually it's probably going to hit everybody. I assume at some point that's going to have a touch with everybody. I mean, that's why you're doing BitChute. I'm doing YouTube. I did do BitChute for a while, which is pretty easy to port over to embed over BitChute is into the Reloaders Network. Jamie, if you want, we can kind of go through that some other time. Here's what I want to bring up. Just wanted to kind of show you something real quick that I got today. I'm real happy about, even though it's probably not that big a deal. But so this is going to end up going on one of the benches that I'm building, and it's going to be sunk down into the epoxy. And it's a company down here called Webb's Graphic Design. They did a really, really, really awesome job. It was like $20. They said they weren't going to be able to get it done for 2 weeks, but I po-mouthed them and they got it done in 4 days. So it's always nice to get good customer service from local people.
Nice.
Come on, Uncle Jim. Really? Y'all watching the comments?
Yes, it does, Uncle Jim. I believe it does.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Uncle Jim, you'd be screwed if you had to go on.
Yeah, that it does seem to work pretty well. The problem I've had, and I say this again with BitChute, is the way in which you have to try to find or search for content creators is really hard. It's really difficult to find people. You almost have to go find the person, get the link from the person, and then once you find that, then you can get and subscribe to them, and then it shows up in your feed. But that's been my only problem with it. But it seems to be a pretty good service, and I got good views over there. I would get just as many views a lot of times on BitChute as I would on YouTube. And what was funny, I'm posting all my videos now on TRN on Friday, and then uploading or then making my videos public on YouTube on Monday. And what's funny is I get just as many videos or views through the Reloaders Network as I do just straight up public listing on YouTube. So I end up with probably like 50 out of just from the TRN, and then I'll get 50 more from YouTube. So it's kind of interesting that it does seem to work.
I'm not getting near the views on BitChute as I do on YouTube, and what you're saying could be part of the reason. But the thing I'm looking at is being able to link to that video from the Reloaders Network, and that would eliminate having to find a creator. So what do you think about it, Georgia boy? You thought much about it?
No, not really. Yeah, I guess all our days are numbered sooner or later on YouTube, maybe. But I think we thought that 6 months ago. But yeah, start shooting everything over to the Reloaders Network once I figure out that system.
Georgia boy, I really hope you didn't actually pack that dog up and send it to Willie.
It's in the mail.
Did you poke holes in the top?
So Signal Soldier 31 actually asked the question. It says, why didn't everybody go to full 30 since that's established? So full 30 has always been and still is invite only. They're accepting applications to go over, but because of their bandwidth issues, yeah, it's basically unless you're a bigger channel, you're not getting on. That combined with the fact that just like a lot of the other places, they still don't have a mobile app as well, and that's another thing that their content creators have been asking for years now, even when it was private closed to just a group of boys that were on there before. It yeah, it's just not really an option. I don't think in the reloading community, probably I can think of 3 channels off the top of my head that could probably get in with their viewer base. Outside of that, the rest of us would pretty much be just how we are.
Yeah, I think they're really, of course they are invite only, but I think they're only looking for one segment of the gun community, not the whole. But,
well, I don't think they really care what segment of the gun community it is. I think the only thing they realistically care about is numbers, because they are they've got an ad-based community, where they do revenue sharing with, at least they did with all of the members previously. I don't know what the new setup is now that they've opened it up to everybody, but it was a closed ad-based only community. And if you watch a lot of those guys that were on those channels, you would definitely notice that almost all of them would get the exact same products at right about the same time to review and whatnot. So there was a lot of that was going on, and probably still does. I forget what it was. There's an old early 90s gun that came out and got reviewed earlier this week, and all of a sudden 3 of the 4 channels had it within the last 2 weeks. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more to full 30 than just what it appears on the outside.
yeah, you would think, and it's a money thing. Nobody's going to create something they can't make money off of, but you would think that Midway, Brownells, somebody with a lot of money who could generate their own more income off of ads would create a platform for the 2A community.
Well, they did the NRA TV as a way to try to get some online viewers to get in one spot, but that's really just for, they got 4 or 5 people doing almost professional level content. It is interesting. There's a line of demarcation. I want to say, guys, we got about 5-6 minutes left to go if we're going to try to stay within this 9:30 time frame.
Yeah, I think what's going to help us the most as smaller channels is, obviously it's great. We've got the TRN platform and whatnot, offshoots like BitChute and stuff like that, and we're still redirecting from YouTube. But I think what's going to help us the most in this fight is ultimately going to be, when channels like Brownells and Midway and stuff like that start getting hit, and they decide that they're going to start fighting back. Because collectively, even if there's, what is it, 2,000 or 3,000 people in Reloaders Network, that's a drop in the bucket as far as YouTube concerned. They don't really care. But when you start getting corporate money into the fight, you know, with Brownells, with how big they are, and you know that's going to have an NRA tie. That's, I think, where we're going to eventually start seeing some differences. So as much as I hate to say it, I'm glad they finally went after one of those more corporate channels, because I think now we've actually got a shot at this actually being a fight and not just people rolling over.
Yeah, I agree with you that when they start hitting the corporate channels, there's more of a chance of having some kind of lawyer backlash. I'm not going to afford a lawyer. I'm just going to stop and go to YouTube, you know. But Hornady may. I don't know. I mean, they went to all those trouble Hornady did to make those videos with that fantastic reloading Australian person. I don't remember her name. Anybody? But yeah, so they might pitch a fit if they get pulled, but I don't know.
Yeah, that would be, you know, if they hit one of the manufacturers, specifically like you're talking about, like Midway, I think that'll really be when we see the rubber meet the road, per se. You know, obviously you're not hoping for anybody's channel to get taken offline, but that's realistically, I think, what it's going to take before we really start seeing some recourse against some of these stupid ass policies.
My thing is, where's the NRA at in all this? They have the money to build a gun tube, if you will, and it's just not politically advantageous for them to do so. So therefore, we're all sitting here paying dues and or not, and not getting a whole lot of service for what we're paying.
Well, at the end of the day, you got to remember NRA has to control their brand, and you know, if they open it up to the general public and people can post whatever in the hell they want, unscrutinized, you know, and somebody makes some stupid ass video of God knows what, you know, some unthinkable idiocy, and that's, you know, relates back to NRA, that would be a huge brand image hit that I'm not sure they're willing to take, to be honest with you.
So what's everybody going to be reloading next?
Well, I guess I'll start because I got mine put on the desk. I've got a video coming out Sunday with a channel update and a bench update, and then hopefully Monday I can get this video put together tonight. I'm gonna check on the deer and I got in the cooler. It should still be good. I still have plenty of ice, but start with the intro to my 6.5 Creedmoor series and working on that.
That's going to be a good series, boss. Real good series.
I did actually get some really good penetration shots last night. So for my final Grindle video in that series, it's definitely going to be some graphic parts to it as well. Obviously not any shooting and knocking down, because I'm not going to shoot where I hunt. But as far as, you know, showing entrance and exit wounds and stuff like that, I can't think of any more relevant of a target than what we're actually shooting at. So, you know, I do have some footage of entrance and exit wounds and stuff like that. So it's going to be an interesting video that I'm actually really surprised to kind of see, or I'm not surprised, but I'm kind of interested in seeing how that's going to go over with the community. But we'll see. You know, I still got to put the test part of the video together as far as the setup stuff, and then I'm going to roll in some of the footage of the actual kill shots and stuff like that, and see what the response is to that. Hopefully people aren't too grossed out by it, but we'll see.
Just put a disclaimer in the description, I guess, is about all you can do.
Yeah, Kyle, I was basically what I'm going to do is right when the video starts, I'm going to put a huge disclaimer that, you know, this video contains graphic images. And then I think before I roll any of the footage of the actual wounds, I'm probably just going to say something to the effect of, I'm going to pause for 15 seconds to let anybody who wants to stop their video, because, you know, the next part of this video is going to show, you know, entrance and exit wounds on previously live animals. So
Previously live animals.
Right. Yeah, I like the way you put that. Yeah. Those who used to breathe.
So what are you doing next, Georgia boy?
Gonna be probably do a video on my new reloading bench once I get it all set up, and moving on up the ladder with some 38 Special Plus P cast bullets in the revolver. Still working on that. So that's where I'll be for a while.
So how you liking that Taurus revolver?
Yeah, so far so good, you know.
I know you're not real happy with the finish on it, but is it steel?
Is it what, Jamie?
Is it steel? Is it heavy?
Yeah, I mean it's your typical 19 size revolver, 7-shot. Fit and finish, it's a nice revolver. It's just I don't care for the matte black finish. I like traditional blue, but you can't get them that way no more. So
You're like me. You're a blue and wood kind of guy, aren't you?
yeah, I'm a traditionalist.
I think, of course, I'm still working on the 35 Remingtons. I got load 3 is loaded up right here, and I had some technical difficulties. I had to start over, but I got them loaded up. If y'all can see.
Oh, that reminds me. Be right back.
So I'm gonna be doing the test shooting of these and uploading the video. I already got some footage in the can, and we'll see how that develops. But I think the next powder is going to be what is it? 4831, I think is what it is. Does that sound right? These are H335s. I've already done 4064. I think it's 4831 is what's next on the list. What about you, Nathan?
For me, next, I'm going once I get the benches done here, which I'm hoping to be done this weekend, at least with the heaviest, with the biggest parts of it. And I actually get my presses mounted and all that. Once I get done with all that, and I'm actually back to reloading the 32 mag Ruger series, I'm going to start that where I'm going to do load development with several different bullets. Might even end up buying another mold. I'd rather not, but we'll see.
I'm glad you said that. I got something to show y'all.
Go ahead.
Like String Bean says, got a letter from home just the other day. Keep it right here next to my heart. Georgia boy will remember that.
Yeah.
No, NOE. I'm sorry, can't say no. This is a 5-cavity NOE 279 160 grain flat nose. And Kyle also has a 270, so we will both be putting this one through the paces.
And I'm still waiting on Full Lead Taco to call me.
Doesn't everybody in the state of Georgia have a 270? I thought that was a requirement to actually get a driver's license here.
Hey, Jamie, I got something to show you, sir.
We're waiting.
All right. I told you, I'm making us some lavender 35 Remingtons, brother.
Woo!
I got a whole bucket full out there, and that's what we're going to be playing with.
Tell the Emperor to be still my heart. I know he's lusting over those right now.
I'm actually I'm gonna be playing with a couple of things. I got I really want to play with 44 specials, and see if I can work these up in a Magnum load. I'm going to be playing with the 35 Remington, jumping off on your back, Jamie, because you've done a lot of the work, and I'm just going to hop on that and go.
Shoot
I guess.
with it.
Do what?
So then shoot a chronograph with it.
Right. You understand. But I got these Lee Tumble Lube 44s that I've already shot quite a few with these 44 specials, and these are promising. And I'm using unique powder, which I'm not really familiar with, except for loading up my buddy's 500. And it's actually really easy to shoot, and everything's great, and they're grouping fantastic. I'm gonna put a video up, and hey, I got something else coming out. I got the second prototype of the bullet trap. It's much lighter, much smaller, much more portable, and all that. My buddy said, just go ahead and put a YouTube video up. And he's wanting to start making them, and he'll ship them all around the planet, you know, if that's what people want. I'm going to do something on Sunday, I believe, and put it out. And I know some of y'all are going to just take the design and roll with it on your own way. I know Uncle Jim's going to. But I'm gonna go into it and show you how it works and all that. I've actually got it in my living room. So we're going. That's what I got coming up. There's going to be several videos here shortly.
Vanessa, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. Armand Access just came in for a little while. Thanks for stopping in. And Signal asked me about the. I think it was going to ask me about my. My K31 having the tag it does, and that's the other thing on Be Reloaded. So I'm going to do 32 mag, and I'm also going to do some K31 stuff. Partially what I'm going to do is I've got some loads that I've already got for it, or that I loaded up for it. I think I loaded them. They're 130 or 130 grain, so a real light bullet for it. No idea why I did that, unless that was just what we had. I've also got from the Hornady bullet rebate thing. I've got like 5 boxes of 150 grain 308 bullets that I'm going to try to use in it, and maybe some other stuff. So that's one of the other reloading projects that's coming up for me once I get done with all this mess.
Got a product that I want to plug here on our way out, if you don't mind, Nathan.
Knock it out, brother.
It's not affiliated with anybody or anything that I know of, but this is one of those Primos trigger sticks. It is the tripod version. As you can see, it's got 3 legs down here on the bottom. And essentially all you do is you press this button and the legs extend and retract, and they're completely silent. I used this last night for the first time. I got it in. And you want to talk about a rock solid shooting platform for in the field. The only negative that I can find on it is there's not really a good way, as far as the way it comes, to mount any type of way to carry it. So you basically got to carry it in your hand. Obviously, I'm going to figure out a way to put some type of way to, you know, sling it or whatnot. But I was able to stock a good 50 to 60 yards out in the field last night, just carrying this thing. And then, like I said, all I did was set it vertically and press this little trigger button here, and it pretty much locked right into the exact height that I needed and gave me a good base to shoot from. So they are expensive. This is the Gen 3 one. I don't know what the difference is between the Gen 3 and the other generations, but this one was about $100. But if you find yourself needing a stable shooting platform that's mobile, this thing worked absolutely fantastic for me. So nothing but good things to say about this. And like I said, it is definitely quiet. So
who makes that? Did you say Primos?
Yeah, Primos makes it. It's a Primos Gen 3 shooting stick. If you like search Amazon or Google for just that, it ought to come up and see it. It's called a trigger stick. Like I said, I give about $100 for it, and as far as a stable platform, it was absolutely fantastic last night when I used it. So I'm definitely looking forward to having something like that rather than you know, bracing off of a sling or whatnot, which I end up doing a lot of times in the field. So
come on, I know you're supposed to shoot off of a fence post, no matter how much it might get on some people's nerves.
Yeah, well, if I'm shooting right out of my backyard, which is funny because the one field that I shoot the most is actually the one in my backyard, and I've got grapevines right in the back of my house, and I literally just go and post up on the fence post and shoot from there. But yeah, it makes a great alternative to a fence post, since fence posts aren't exactly mobile.
And I don't think they're an acceptable shooting platform in all cases. Guys, look, I hate to do it, but we do kind of need to jump off. We're going to try to stick to that 9:30-ish area. So go ahead and got anything to say, go ahead and tell everybody what you got going on or what's going to come up. We've got I'll say something here in the chat real quick. And guys, we're not going to be doing our live chat next week. TRN, the Reloaders Network, is going to be doing a live chat. I think they're going to go on Saturday. So we're not going to be stepping on top of each other, and then we'll pick up the week after that right back. So we're wanting to set it up to where once a month the Reloaders Network does its chat, and we don't step on top of each other. We're going to try that for a little while, see how it goes. So go ahead and close the marks, whatever you got to say.
Well, I enjoyed it. Glad I finally got to make it. It was a good first time.
Glad you made it. I've been wanting you to get on ever since we started, so I'm glad that you were able to make it this week.
Yeah. Jamie helped me get things figured out earlier today, so it's just been a time thing with me, but I'm glad I finally made it.
We're glad to have you. Hope you make it back as often as you can.
Jamie, what else you got coming up?
I was just telling them earlier, I've got the third load of the 35 Remington series loaded up, ready to shoot and test and film. I've already got some film in the can, and maybe you can go with me and shoot these things up and see what we come up with.
Yeah, we can do that, brother. Not a problem. Ain't like you have to pull my teeth to get me to go pull trigger.
I heard that. And Mr. Bacon, while you're out there, if you'll check that email address I sent to Vanessa to make sure that's right. I know you was telling her to go to the Reloaders Network, but I think that's pretty close, if not. Guys, thank everybody for joining us tonight. I thank Dale and Kevin and Dan Calls for stopping by. They're two of my friends. I've been telling them about our chat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you'll come back. And we'll be taking the week off next week, like Nathan said, but we'll be back the week after that. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
Oh, the creek is going to rise. The creek is all about.
I am lucky I shot that deer last night because, like I said, we had 7/10 today, so the fields were just starting to get solid again, and there's no way. But I appreciate everybody coming out, and sorry for being late, but I'm looking forward to it. And Georgia boy, it's nice to finally get you on here with us, brother.
Yeah, man, it's good to be with y'all and get to hang out with y'all tonight.
Yeah, Armin X says here that he wouldn't mind coming on the show sometime. Absolutely, we do. What we'll do is we're trying to do every other week. We end up doing like kind of a guest spot with somebody that's not from Georgia. So we'll just kind of shoot me a message on Slack or something so that I kind of have a log. Got a couple people that are wanting to jump on, and we'd love to have you. Absolutely. Kyle, what's your signing off here? What do you got going on? What are you doing next? What's up?
No, like Jamie said, we've already talked about what we got coming up. I'm gonna do a in the yard bullet trap review, and hopefully next weekend I'll be down at the shooting property. I don't know if I can join the TRN Google chat. I hope I can. If I'm down there, I can't. If I'm not, I'll be in there, at least in the comments. But I'm playing around with a bunch more 44 stuff, and I'm actually really excited about this bullet trap thing. It's an idea that me and a buddy of mine had, and we've been just mulling it over. I built the big one. Y'all saw the video on it. It works great. It's just big. It takes two people to move it. he's made a one-person model, and I think if you can grab some 2x4s and stuff like that, you can actually bring it up to eye level and trap everything. I know it stands up to 357 because he wore it out with his SP 101 at like 7 yards. So I know it's stout. Looking forward to putting that out there. He wanted to come down here and talk about it with me, but he's going to be a little too busy this weekend. And like I say, I hope I can make the live chat.
Ooh.
Okay, everybody still there?
Laying down.
Not even the least bit surprised.
Right. Yeah, me neither.
I just put on there.
I'm amazed at how long it took me to find the little bracket to put it up there.
Back with the
I'm
video.
hoping to make the chat next week, but at least in the comments and everything like that, because y'all are an amazing bunch of people, and it's really cool to sit there and talk to you. But I've had a lot of fun tonight, and thank you to Georgia Boy for coming out. It was really good to have you on here, man. It's nice cutting up with you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I enjoyed it. Maybe next time we'll be talking about something besides 9mm. I got one, and I never shoot it, so I'm not the best
right
spokesman
yeah,
for 9mm.
I've got a couple, and hey, Uncle Jim, there's the 380, little midget cricket.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Yeah, yep, there you go. That's why I don't
Been
like
in my right front
it
pocket
gets in
for
the way.
about 12 or 13 years, I guess.
Yeah. That's why I don't like 380 brass. It just gets in the way. But like I told Uncle Jim and Timothy Robinson, I think I'm going to go over there in the corner of the basement and start rounding that brass back up. So hell, y'all might see a 380 loading video coming up. I don't know.
Guys, I
had a really good time, guys. I appreciate it tonight.
appreciate everybody coming out on the chat. Appreciate Georgia Boy coming out. A Mooser making it, even if he was a little bit late. For you guys, for the 20 that are there, just to let you know, my next videos are still going to be bench building, but we are getting somewhere. So we've actually got a freestanding unit there to actually reload on. But my next videos are going to be that. And I'm probably going to do a little cleanup and review on a 310 tool that I picked up. But everything's going to go over on the Reloaders Network for a little while. And then we'll, it'll be posted public on Monday for on YouTube. In fact, my video right now for finishing wood finishing is going to be up or is up on Reloaders Network. So guys, I appreciate everybody coming out. Take a look at the Reloaders Network if you haven't. There's going to be, take a look at everyone on the side chat. Take a look at side chat while it's coming up. And if there's somebody you're not subscribed to, click on their name and check out their channel. It's a great way to find people to follow and to find out what's going on in the reloading world. So I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for the chat. And we will see you not this week coming up, but the week after that. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.